Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, January 26th. It is 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we will get started shortly. So sorry about yesterday, guys. I woke up late. I popped melatonin, ended up knocking out like a full 8 hours. And then I forgot to set my alarm. So I woke up like literally at 8 o'clock. I think I did wake up early, like on time, but then I just knocked back out because melatonin was like taking its effect. So unfortunately, no live session yesterday, but it was good to see that a lot of you guys still use the knowledge that you guys took from, pretty much all my previous live sessions and were able to pretty much hold your own live session through chat in the premium group. So I'm glad to see that. But yeah, we'll be back right now shortly with a regularly scheduled live session. I'll make sure not to let that happen again. Sorry, guys, give me a few more moments and then I'm going to go ahead and finish setting this room up. Shouldn't take too long. Just a couple more options here to update. And I think we should be good to go. All right, so let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Guys, there we go. Yeah, it's the same thing, Maddie. That's good. All right, cool. Looks like people are on their way right now. So I'll get a few more moments for people to join in. See who's here so far. Hey, Van Harwig, how's it going? Morning. Morning, Maria. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Keonia. Morning, Peter. Morning, Becky. Morning, Steven. Morning, Karen. Morning, Will. Morning, Nick. Morning, everybody. So good morning, guys. Sorry about yesterday again. I woke up late yesterday, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to hop onto the mentoring session or the live session. But again, I'm glad to see that a lot of you guys here were able to still maneuver through the market through the chat, even even without the live, and seeing you guys work together was nice, because it seemed like a lot of you guys still locked in some pretty good profit, even though like you guys didn't have my analysis. But I'm glad that someone here has been paying attention so that you guys know what to look for. But all right, guys, I'm back for the trading session. Market's going to open in about 4 minutes. I'm going to do one more thing here and post this link to our social media, and we should be good to go. Hey, Rashida. Morning. Morning, William. Hey, Steven. Yeah, the breakout 2.0 looks like it'll be a buy today, guys. I'll do my analysis on it. Again, as I mentioned, guys, I don't really take the breakout 2.0 by itself. I take the breakout within it. So if I see a breakout that's within 2.0, I'll take it for a partial move. And then from there, I'll possibly, just hop in and out. I don't necessarily hold the breakout for the full move because it takes up so much of my margin, and I want to use that margin for my scalps. So if I see a breakout 2.0 or breakout, I'll mark it up for you guys and I'll let you know which direction it's going, which it looks like it's going to be for a buy today. But I'm not going to be holding it for the entire move because it's just too big of a move for me to hold on to. And if I see a scalp in between, it's just going to throw off my ability to, use my margin for that specific move. So, all right, looks like majority of you guys are here now. So let me go ahead and just start my analysis real quick. So, all right, guys, looking over here on the higher time frames, here's the requirements for the breakout 2.0. This is what Steven's looking for. So for the breakout 2.0, first you want to confirm the direction of trend on the 10-minute, 30-minute, and 1 hour time frame. So looking over here on the 1 hour, you can see price is bullish, and the reason for that is because price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green, pivots are angling up. Same with the 30-minute over here. You can see price is also bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green and the pivots are angling up. Lastly, here on the 10-minute, we'll go ahead and maximize this. You guys can see here that we have the same thing. Price over here is above the pivots. Trend meter is green and the pivots are angling up. So with that said, we've confirmed requirement number one. With requirement number one confirmed, we're going to move on to step two, confirm direction of momentum. Right here, we have a bullish momentum. So with that said, we can enter here for a buy on open. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up the breakout 2.0, but I'm not necessarily going to plan on taking this myself. Like I'll use it as a confluence for maybe the breakout, the regular breakout, and then maybe also you know, the scalps within it, but I'm not necessarily going to take it by itself like that. The movement right here looks very high, so I think it'd probably be best to be using a 1,500 pip TP stop loss versus the 1,000 pip, because the 1,000 pip looks a little small, but I'd rather be, you know, obviously safe and sorry. So I think I'd probably want to use a 1,500 pip TP stop loss for this specific move here. So I've got it marked up right there, guys. We'll follow it, but again, you know, I'm going to give you guys a heads up. I'm not going to be taking this by itself. You know, technically we haven't had any losses this whole year. The only losses we had were from the breakout 2.0. So I'm not necessarily too keen on taking that trade, even though it does hit a lot of the times. We had news over here at 5:30. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up news as well. So we had news over here at 5:30 a.m. high impact. And we'll have to see how price reacts to that, obviously, right? So we got news right there at 5:30, news at 7, and then news at 7:30. So 7 and 7:30 as well. Market is opening in about 20 seconds, guys. So if you guys want to take that breakout 2.0, feel free. But again, as I mentioned, I'm not going to be taking it myself. I'm going to be looking over here on the shorter time frames for a confirmation. So basically looking for a buy signal over here on the 1 minute. If I could get that, then I'll take the breakout the regular breakout within the breakout for a partial move. So we'll see where it goes. Here we go. As price starts to push up, it's kind of moving around right now. Here's the breakout market up. So this right here is going to be considered the breakout 2.0. Again, as I mentioned, guys, I'm not in this position. I'll be following it so that you guys can follow it as well. But I'm not necessarily going to be taking this for the full move because it's just too big of a move and I don't want to be eating up my margin holding on to this position when I can be looking for scalps within it. So if I see a normal breakout within over here on the short time frames, I'll probably hop in for a quick little push, you know, maybe a slight entry, but not necessarily going to hold on to this full move here for the 2.0. So there's a 2.0 for you right there, Steven. Basically what I'm looking for over here is I'm looking for this here to close with a buy signal. If it closes with the buy signal, this will be an indicator for entry on the regular breakout, which is a 500 pip move, smaller move within it. And then from there, we'll be looking for some scalps as well. So let me put the requirements over here for the strategies that we're actually going to be applying. All right, so I took this, sorry guys, you guys probably saw me get a little, you guys probably saw me look at my MT4 screen for a little bit. I took a speculative move here as price is pushing up. The only reason is because I saw liquidity getting hit over here. I got hit with a lot of slippage though, so I only got out for like 610, even though it hit my TP. What the man? I really hate MFF. I mean, not MFF. So I got hit with a lot of slippage right here on all my accounts. I took it for a quick move. I was just going for a quick 100 pips. I locked in 610 off my main account, 260 off my FTMO, 60 bucks off my MFF, and then my TFF gave me a negative 700, which I'm not surprised. But you guys will see. Here, let me show you guys. I'll take a screenshot. Whoops. This trade's not an account, obviously. This is just I took a speculative move because I was looking for the confirmation over here for the buy signal. The buy signal never came, but I was using my other analysis here to just basically pick off a couple moves that I can see here. The breakout 2.0 is still running and it's in profit right there, but obviously I'm not in that position. I was taking it for a partial move here. I was waiting for that buy signal to close, but it never closed. But anyways, here's my profits on that one. So you guys can see I locked in 260 off my FTMO. These two zero accounts are the payouts that I got. So I just got my payouts for my funded accounts for these two FTMOs, and they gave me brand new accounts. I think they're probably moving to a new server. That's why they gave me a new account. So this is my new one here, these two new ones, and then my other ones right here that already got paid out. And then you can see my MFF down here. I locked in $60 and then 700 for the TFF there. Little TFF move. So I think this might be possible breakout within the breakout 2.0. But I mean, we'll see where it ends up going. The candle there is not as strong as I would have wanted it to be. I think you probably need a confirmation of a stronger green candle. But let me go ahead and put the requirements here. So there's no official trades yet, guys. I'm just marking up these trades that are coming up that are like partial. They're basically the breakout and breakout 2.0. But the actual entries that we're looking for here, the official ones, are going to be these momentum scalp variations, momentum scalp, and momentum scalp failure. So these are the official strategies that we'll be applying. If you guys have been here for a while, you guys know what I'm talking about. If you guys are new, you probably are not familiar with these strategies yet, but this is basically the strategies that we're looking for here that we're actually going to count as like, official entries. Breakout 2.0 is still technically running. And then the breakout, I don't know if this would be considered a breakout 1.0 or regular breakout, because the green candle wasn't as strong. It was a buy signal, but not necessarily as strong as, you would have wanted it to have been. So we are going to basically wait for entries here to come up. We don't have any entries up yet. Basically, if we get a sell signal here, this would technically be a momentum scalp failure as long as it's below average. Let me check the bias over here. Everything here is pretty much bullish. So you can see right here on the 10 minutes bullish, 5 minutes bullish on the trend, because price is above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up on both the 10 and the 5-minute time frames. Here on the 1 minute, if we get a sell signal here and the volume is below average, then this is technically going to be considered a momentum scalp failure entry. And then from there, we'll be looking for a possible momentum scalp variation. So I typically don't like taking the momentum scalp failure on its own. I like looking for the momentum scalp variation that's to follow. So let me go ahead and mark up opening price real quick. Opening price is, opening price is right there. And you just want to be careful for a lot of these red flags, of course. So NYSE open price right there. Got news over here at 7, news at 7:30. There goes, price pushes back up. So if this here closes as a strong green candle, this might be considered the breakout, regular breakout. Here, let me just go back real quick. I'm just going to go and review this candle to see if this would technically be the breakout. Let me take off the momentum indicator. Yeah, so I mean, this right here, I guess it possibly could be considered the breakout, but it's kind of an iffy candle. This is why I don't really like taking the breakout or showing you guys a breakout, because it's really subjective, right? You can't really tell if this is a strong green candle or not. Some people might consider it strong, some people might not. So it's really difficult to really confirm that. Let me check the following candle I just closed. Okay, so if you don't consider this a breakout, then this would be considered the breakout as well. If you guys are not familiar with the strategy, don't worry. You guys don't really have to worry about it, because it's not one of the official strategies that we typically apply on the live sessions anymore. I mean, it's one of the strategies we applied in the past, but it's not necessarily one that we typically like to apply anymore, because it's a little too risky unless you're like really quick with identifying the confirmation. So I'm just marking these up for the people who do like the breakout, like Steven. This is like one of the main strategies he likes to apply. He likes to break out 2.0 because it's so simple. Like for this specific strategy here, you don't really have to think very much, right? You just have to confirm the requirements, and then if the requirements are met, you just take the entry and you let the trade run. So, depending on the type of trader that you are, this might be something that you like to apply. For me personally, I like to scalp within it because there's more opportunities within the move versus taking just, one big move here and holding on to it. So I'm not in this position here. I'm looking for a momentum scalp failure to close out. I'm just going to take this off because I don't want to make a mess on the chart before the actual entry. So if we get a sell signal right here, this will technically be an entry for a momentum scalp failure as long as the volume is below average. So first you want to confirm the overall trend, which we already did right here in the 10, 5, and 1. Everything is bullish because price is above the pivots, trend meters green, pivots are angling up. Looking over to the second requirement over here, you want to confirm retracement on the momentum signal on the 1 minute. So that's the sell signal that we're looking at here. If we get a sell signal on the 1 minute here, it's going to confirm a retracement on the specific time frame, which is just indicating that price is pulling back slightly before it continues back up, right? However, the thing that you want to be careful for here is going to be the opening price, right? Obviously, price is right at opening price here, so this would be considered a red flag and not an entry that we would take. So still no sell signal there, but if the sell signal does close, it looks like it's going to be around the area of the red flag. So it's not necessarily one that we're going to be looking to take. So I'm going to put the red flags up here. So red flags, when to avoid trades. When price is near sessions, which is going to be this purple line, green line, and you'll see later a red line. Basically, these are the previous session high lows. You don't want to be trading on those areas because it's highly manipulated. Another area you don't want to be trading is going to be opening price, which is this blue line right here. Third area is going to be news price, so this pink line right here. Basically, any horizontal lines that you guys see on my chart, blue, purple, pink, green, or red, you don't want to be taking trades around those areas because that's typically where price gets highly manipulated. If I'm going to go over here and clean this up, you guys can see whenever price reaches these areas, see this blue line, purple line, pink line, etc. Whenever you guys see price near these areas, you can see that price gets highly manipulated, right? A lot of fake outs, a lot of bounces, a lot of spikes. So you don't want to be trading around those areas there. So basically, if the requirements are met and it's at a red flag, we don't take the trade. So I mean, there's nothing here that came up yet. But if there was something that came up, we would have avoided it because of the red flags. We're still looking for a sell signal. So in order for us to take anything here, we're really just waiting for that sell signal to come up, which we obviously don't have yet. But once we do have it, we will be looking to take entry. So that's the main thing we're looking for. If you guys are looking at the requirements over here, these entries come in order. So this will be the first one that comes up first, the momentum scout failure. This is the most risky out of the three because this is the initial confluence. So like once you have this right here, this will give you basically a heads up that, okay, if these entries come up right after, they're almost for sure going to hit. This one right here, it does hit pretty often, but I do consider it a little bit risky because you're kind of going against where price is moving. You're in a sense counter trend trading because price is going opposite and then you're making entry while price is going opposite. Here's a breakout 2.0, Steven. It's still running. It's currently pretty heavy in profit right now. So if you look at this here, it's in profit about 700 pips. So you should be looking at pretty good profit right now. If you want to move your stop loss in profit, I would probably recommend that you move your stop loss in profit just to be safe. But you know, it's up to you. If you want to just hold on to it and not really touch it, you can just leave it alone as well. But for me personally, you guys know how I trade. I'm very risk averse. I don't like taking trades when they're too risky. And the regular breakout here is technically, I think it would have hit TP already. So let me just mark this up real quick. Not yet, almost. So if you took the original breakout, looks like it's like almost a TP, like it's literally on the spot, but it didn't reach the full potential yet. So it's still technically running at the moment. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So Steven said he took it once the green candle with the green momentum. So he actually took it right here. So it looks like you're in profit right now. I'd probably just hold on to it for a bit, Steven, because you don't want to move your stop loss up too early and then you end up getting, kicked out of the position because it's almost a TP, but it's not there yet. Yeah, you probably just want to hold on to it then, Steven, at that point. But just be aware of like how it's moving. If you don't feel comfortable about the position, move your stop loss in profit or just exit for a profit. So guys, whenever you guys take any of these entries that I'm taking, or whenever you're taking your own entries, if you guys start to feel at any point uncomfortable about holding the position, just pull out for profit, right? Because the last thing you want to do is stress over a position and then make mistakes as price continues to move along. If you feel fine with it and you're not stressed out or anything, just let the trade run because it's probably going to hit. It's just running for too long because this breakout should have been, usually this breakout hits after the first candle or second candle, but you're getting a lot of back and forth movement here. So there's no clear direction of price right now at the moment, or like there's no clear direction of like where price is going to continue. Obviously it's bullish here, so we do think price is going to push up at some point, but these breakouts typically hit like initially after. So like as soon as you guys enter the trade, they usually hit after like 1 or 2 minutes, right? If it's a breakout, you're supposed to just catch that push to the upside and then you're out. But even the breakout 1.0 over here, or the regular breakout, it's taking forever to hit. Breakout over here came up at, let's see, 632. So this trade's been running for like 12 minutes now. It's a little long. in comparison to like how it typically does hit. Usually hits like after the first or second candle. Yeah, no, and Rashida also confirmed. She said it's definitely running too long. I agree. But it's all good. I mean, if you feel comfortable, Steven, hold on to it. Because I'm still anticipating our entry here. We just don't have our buy entry yet. I'm just waiting for this here to play out. So I did take another speculative move here, guys. I'm just hopping into trades, but none of these profits are actually counting because there's no official entries right now, guys. So let me just send you guys another screenshot. I just hopped into another quick 100 pips when I saw the price push back up here. So I'm just sending you guys my profits, but these aren't any official trades. It's just because I know that price is going to go up. So whenever I see price pull back and then shoot back, guys, go for a quick 100 pips. If you measure this here for 100 pips, it's like a quick move, right? So I'm just hitting my TPs getting pulled out. I just hit 2 TPs already as price swings up because it keeps going back and forth. Whenever price comes down to bounce and it comes back up, I just go for a quick 100 pips. But I don't recommend you guys do that unless you guys know what you're doing, right? If you guys are new here, if you guys are just not confident with your trades or your ability to like hop into these speculative moves, just wait for these official entries. The official entries will come up. This might be a momentum scalp failure right here, actually. Yeah, so this here might be, well, I think let me reanalyze everything. But as I mentioned, I don't typically take the first entry. I usually wait for the next one. So bullish, everything here is bullish. Yeah, this right here would technically be a momentum scalp failure, but I typically don't take the first one. It was also close to the opening price here, so that's why I was kind of like iffy about thinking about taking it. But usually what I'll do is I'll let this trade play out, and then if it's followed by a momentum scalp variation or a momentum scalp, I'll enter on one of these right here. So you guys can see how it becomes risky right here, right? Because you become you're in a sense counter trend trading, and I don't necessarily like counter trend trading because it can be two things. It can either be a momentum scalp failure or it can be an actual reversal, right? So when you're taking this trade here, it's a very high risk. But if you wait for the second one to come after, so for example, here I'm not in this first position, but if price swings back above the pivots, then I'm going to hop in because that's going to be a momentum scalp variation right here, the second strategy. Right. So this here would basically be a initial, it's the initiation to the push to the upside. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for a green candle to close above the pivots around here. If I get that right there, it's going to be an entry for a momentum scalp variation. Oh yeah, sorry. So the volume here was too high. So this is actually not a momentum scalp failure. So going back to the requirements over here, confirm overall trend, it was bullish, confirm retracement momentum signal. Right here is a retracement momentum signal. And then step 3, you want to confirm volume is below average. You can see from this red candle right here that the volume is above average. It's above this blue line. So this is actually not a momentum scalp failure entry. Thanks, Christian, Rashida, Robin, Zach, everyone, for the heads up right there. So that's why I don't like taking this entry as well for the momentum scalp failure, because this candle sometimes will like randomly get a random spike, like how it did right here. It spiked down super heavy, and then now you can see that the volume was above average. So a lot of times people miss that, especially myself. I miss it myself a lot of the times. That's why sometimes I'll get into the momentum scalp failure, and then I regret it because I look back at the volume and I'm like, damn, this volume's above average, so I shouldn't have even have taken that trade. So I'm still looking for it to come back above. If price does swing back above over here, guys, then it's going to be a momentum scalp variation. The way that the market's moving right now, I'm not sure if I go for 100 pips or if I should go for 500 pips. I mean, I don't know if I should do the 10-30 split or the 25-50 because I think 25-50 might be best. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Well, price needs to be above the opening price here. This whole area right here is a red flag because it's right at opening price, sessions, etc. We need price to actually be like above here for us to take entry. Because if price is touching any of these horizontal lines, it's not going to qualify because it's going to be invalidated due to the red flag right here. So basically what I want to happen here is I want a candle to close slightly above the opening price. And then I want a following candle to follow right after to confirm that it's going to close above the pivots. So there's no momentum scalp failure right now, guys. The main thing that we're looking for right now is we're looking for momentum scalp variation. This right here was not qualified because of the volume. It was above average. So no momentum scalp failure, but this entry can still come right after momentum scalp variation. So we're basically looking for this here to close above the opening price, and then we're looking for it to close above the pivots. But I don't want it to close like a big candle above, because if we do that, then we're going to be stuck with a position here, which is going to be one of the red flags at the opening price. All right, there's a pending sell in the 5-minute. Thanks, Madhu, for the heads up. So we have a pending sell signal right here. In order for us to have a momentum scalp variation, we need to have buy signals across all time frames. So let me go over to the requirements again real quick. So there's no momentum scalp failure, but for the momentum scalp variation over here, first you want to confirm the overall trend on the 1-minute, 5-minute, and 10-minute time frames. Looking at this over here, everything is still technically bullish right now. However, the 5-minute over here is not looking so great because it's starting to push below the pivots. However, it's right down the middle. So looking over here on the 10, this is still considered bullish because price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green, pivots are angling up. Same with the 5-minute over here. You can see price is still slightly above the pivots, but it's like right down the middle. So this might be considered neutral now, since it's right down the middle. In order for it to be bullish, price needs to be above the pivots to confirm that it's still going to continue to the upside. Price may be rejecting off the pivot right here, and then it may correct back up. But at the moment, we just don't have this confirmation yet, right? Because we need this to actually be above. So looking at this from where it's currently at, the 1-minute here is bearish, 5-minute here is neutral, switching to bearish, and the 10-minute here is still bullish. So just be patient, guys. Don't hop into anything that you guys are not comfortable with, or nothing that, because there's no actual entries here yet at the moment. Once we have an actual entry, then we'll take it. But at the moment, there's just nothing for us to take right now. Let's see. Yeah, Steven ate a loss on the breakout. So this is why I was telling you guys, like, see, for this right here, if you guys were taking the breakout 2.0, this is why I warned earlier to move the stop loss and profit. I know Steven, he entered late. Steven, if you're going to take the breakout 2.0, you got to actually take the breakout 2.0, right? Because like in the beginning of the live session, you said you're ready for the breakout 2.0, but you hesitated and you waited for the breakout 1.0 over here to come up, which is still considered risky. And it was like, even for these entries here, like you entered on this green candle right here, but it was subjective because the wick on top was still kind of big, compared to the body. So see, whenever you take an entry, you have to like commit to like whichever one you're looking to take. If you wanted to take the breakout 2.0, you would have gotten in at a better entry and you could have moved your stop loss and profit. But since you were hesitant, you waited for the breakout 1.0, you ended up getting in at bad entry, right? Because you were supposed to get in a lot earlier down here, but you ended up getting in very late. So you got in like 200 pips once it was already in profit. So, I mean, it's all good, Steven. You'll bounce back from it. But because, just looking back at the chat, you kept saying, okay, I'm ready for the breakout 2.0, but you waited too late to enter the trade. But it's okay. It looks like you used proper risk on that trade, so you didn't really lose too much. And this, again, this is a clear example why I don't like taking the breakout, right? The breakout's still a good entry on most days, but on days like this, where you're really uncertain, you can see that price can easily shift the other way. So that's why I didn't take the breakout 2.0 here. And I mentioned, and I warned everybody at the beginning, like, I don't plan on taking this, but if I see a breakout 1.0, I'll take it for a partial move, which is what I did. And that's how I locked in my profit right here, right? I locked in about 870 on my first account, 1,570 off my second account, 420 off all my MFFs, and then a little bit of a loss right here for my TFF because they just execute trades late. So, just listen to my analysis. If I tell you guys it's risky, it's probably risky. And the reason why I'm not taking it is because I don't think it's going to necessarily play out. So if you guys just followed my lead on that, you guys would have made, at least some profit. Looks like some of you guys here did take it. So Slava over here actually took it for a partial move, locked in a total profit of 798 for the day. Nice work, Slava. Patrick over here took the loss. It's okay. It happens. Yeah. So this is why I don't consider I don't take the breakout as an official entry, right? Because it's too risky, but it's all good. Fern over here took the breakout. So you can see some people here took the breakout. They took it the same way I took it and they made some wins on it. Some people took losses. So that's why the breakout's like an iffy trade. That's why I don't really take it as an official entry. The only official entries that we take here on the live sessions now are basically these 3 strategies, because these are high probability trades and you're not really putting your, you're not putting your capital at risk, or not really your capital, but your margin at risk. Because for example, if you're holding this position for a long time and you got a scalp within it, you probably wouldn't be able to take your full lot size because you'd be over leveraging at that point. But yeah, no, it's all good. So Patrick over here took a small loss. This isn't even a big loss. It looks like you might have taken it out, or you took a smaller lot size. Okay, that's smart. So Patrick over here took a smaller lot size, and he only ate like basically a 1.5% risk. So you'll bounce back from that. So you guys can see here, Andreas locked in some profit off that breakout. He took it for a small little push like I did, locked in 277. Nice work, Andreas. And then Maddie over here as well. Maddie locked in a total profit of 467. He took 2 entries right there. And then his second account locked in 1,030. So nice work right there, Maddie. Here's Eunice over here, took the breakout as well. So total profit of 239 for the day. So you can see there's a bit of some mixed profits here. It just depends on like who is holding it and who ended up closing out early. So Eunice said I quitted the trade early. Last one was a breakout. Others were from London session. So yeah, Eunice took the breakout here, pulled out a little early like I did, and then locked in some profit. Maria over here as well. She said made a little mistake for a little scalp of 100 pips on the breakout 2.0. So Maria here also did what I did. She took it for a partial move, locked in 99 off that trade, and then she made a little mistake on her previous trade where she made a small loss. So locked in a total profit of 61.58 right there. Rashid over here as well took the breakout for a partial move, locked in 355. So it's all good, guys. It could have really went either way, right? If price went and spiked all the way to the upside, it could have went straight to TP. Or if you did what I did and took it for a partial move, you would have locked in partial profit. Steven, why did you re-enter the trade? Okay, Steven, don't. I just saw Steven's message in here. Steven said, still, I see it. I'm still in it. Yeah, Steven, you can't be holding on to positions like this. Like if you hit your stop loss, you just got to hit your stop loss and be out of it, Steven, because you can see it. Like there's no confirmation that price is actually going to correct back up, Steve. You can't like just let your trade run like that because price is starting to shift. You can see prices coming below here. We're now looking for sells, Steven. So you shouldn't be in a buy anymore. Nick said you're still in a buy, question marks. Yeah, Steven, you can't be holding trades like that. That's how you blow accounts, because when you get to your stop loss point, you just got to eat the loss and move on to the next one. I'm hoping this will swing back up to bring you back into correction, but you got to remember, Steven, this is how you blew accounts in the past, right? If you don't, like, you got to learn to just eat the loss when it happens, because if you hold on to it for too long, you're going to be, there's no telling what will happen to your account next, especially if you hold on for it too long. Let me see. So Steven held on to this trade here. Yeah, this is way past your stop loss, Steven. You should have been exited like way up here. If you took the regular breakout, your stop loss should have been like way up here, right? So you basically held on to it for an extra, I don't know, 2,000 pips. Let's see. Yeah, Nick had told you, buddy. CNBC reported a bullish day on the breaking news. At that point, shift in bias was completely expected. Yeah, no. So like what Nick here just mentioned is like, if you guys ever follow CNBC, if they ever report on something, like they say something's bullish, price typically goes ahead and does the opposite. I don't really trade off that stuff, but it's like something to look at as you do your analysis for the day. I didn't really look at CNBC, but I did see what Nick mentioned earlier in the chat. So I kind of use that to my advantage, but I didn't necessarily trade off it. But yeah, no, Steven, you got to like in the future, I mean, in the future and now, because you already know like what the issue is. This has been your issue, like, and this is not just your issue. It's an issue with a lot of people. A lot of people don't like to eat the losses, right? So a lot of times you just have to eat the loss and move on to the next one. So for example, if you ate a loss here for the breakout, now you can look for a possible sell, right? Because now looking at the trend over here, everything is bearish. For the 10-minute over here, price is below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. Same with the 5-minute over here, price is below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling down. And then over here on the 1 minute, you can see price is below the pivots, trend meters red, and the pivots are angling down. So that now that price is below here, we're now looking for sells. So if price does stay below, we can look for some sells here, but you guys just got to like move with the market, right? So this is why I don't like predicting where price is going. For me personally, I just take what the market gives me. If the market's telling me sells right now, I'm looking for sells. Price was like earlier, price was telling me buys. So I was looking for buys, but my buy entry never came. So now that price is below here, I'm now looking for sells. So you guys have to adapt with the market. The market's not always going to be in one direction the entire day. Like for example, here pre-market price was bullish. Now it's bearish. So we're shifting from sells to buys, but we were never really in any long-term buys anyways to begin with, because this momentum scalp failure never closed. So now we're looking for momentum scalp failure on the bottom side. Also have news coming up right here in 3 minutes. While we wait for the news to happen, I'll just go ahead and take a screenshot of my profits real quick, and then you guys can see what I personally locked in myself. But again, none of these profits that I'm sharing with you guys right now are official trades, because we didn't really take them as official entries. They were just speculative moves that I was taking within the breakout earlier. I was just taking partial moves within it. So here is my main account. You guys will see that it hit my TP for both of them. I did hit slippage on like basically all my accounts, but you'll see my main account here is pretty on point because it did hit the green strips. So here's my FTMOs, my MFF right here. We have news coming up right now shortly, guys. So there's no entries that we can take specifically. There's a pending buy signal, so that's a pending buy for a possible momentum scalp failure, but not one that we would take because it's right at news price. But yeah, Steven, next time in the future, just let the trade hit stop loss, right? If it's getting to that point, you just got to eat the loss. It's not worth risking to blow your account, because the next, like if you eat a loss, the next trade could be an easy win. So just think about the long-term health of your account. All right, so here's my main account, second account, MFF, 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 and my TFF. All right, so here we go. As price starts to swing back up, this is news price right here. Let me go ahead and mark this up. So this right here would have technically been the momentum scalp failure, but it was on the news price and it was also hitting the red flags. So if you guys took the trade, or I mean, let me check the candle. Yeah, the candle there is below average. Everything here meets criteria. This right here would have been the momentum scalp failure. Would have hit TP. Another entry right here would be the momentum scalp variation, but we can't take the trade there because it's like literally on news price and it's also at the sessions. So due to the red flags here, we can't take these trades. This would technically be a momentum scalp variation though. But it's like right at the red flag, so we wouldn't have taken the trade there specifically. So unfortunately, you guys will get this sometimes where we'll have entries here, but they land directly on the red flags. So we have the whole trifecta of entries right here. We have the momentum scalp failure that already hit full TP. There's a momentum scalp variation that's on its way to full TP right here. And then if this sell signal here closes, then it's also going to be a momentum scalp, but there's not any trades that we could personally take because it's like right at the red flags. Looking at the red flags right here, when to avoid trades. When price is near sessions, it'll be this purple line and this red line right here. When price is near opening price, which is way up here, but if it was down here, it hit that too. But basically any of the horizontal lines. Sessions right here, which is a red flag. And then we have news price right there, that pink line. But this would have been the entries that we were looking for. So this right here would hit full TP, momentum scalp failure. This trade right here is on its way to full TP. This would be a momentum scalp variation. And then if the sell signal, and there you go. 2 back-to-back full TPs right there, not trades that we would have taken because of the red flags, but you can see how they do play out, right? Momentum scalp failure right there, this green signal, this red candle next to it is going to be the momentum scalp variation, full TP as well. And then this red candle right here with the sell signal would be a momentum scalp. But unfortunately, we couldn't take any of those trades because it's like literally in the middle of all of these red flags right here. This purple line right here is the Asia low. This pink line right here is the news price that just passed. And then this red line right here is the London high. So we can't take any of these trades here, even though, I mean, you guys could have taken it if you wanted to, but not one that I would personally take because it's just too risky. So unfortunately, you know, all of these trades came up at all these red flags. We'll just wait for the next one. There's going to be more entries. So just don't worry about missing these here if you guys didn't take them, because I didn't take them myself. So there's still no official entries for today. We're pretty much just waiting for confirmations to get met. The strategies were met, but the confluence right here with regard to the red flags were not met. So I couldn't have taken those trades. But anyways, here are my accounts so far. So here's my main account. You can see I have the green strips right here for the breakouts that I took. I just took partial moves within the breakout. They both hit full TP. They were supposed to be for 1,000 each, but there was slippage. So I locked in a total profit of 1,570. Here's my FTMO copier. I locked in 870. Here's my MFF. I locked in 420 off my first account, 420 off my second account, 420 off my third account. And then my TFF over here, of course, I got slippage on this first trade over here. Or I don't know what happens with TFF. I don't know if it's slippage or just execution time. But this one was supposed to make profit. I made negative 700. And then the second trade here, it actually gave me some profit, but only 200. I locked in 610 on that, or I locked in 960 off the second trade. So this trade should have been closer to the 900 profit. And then I locked in 610 off the first one. So this one gave me complete opposite. It gave me negative 700 when it should have been positive 600. So, I mean, it's all good. It happens. But, you know, just be aware. Okay, there's a possible momentum scalp failure coming up again right here, guys. Again, as I mentioned, I don't usually take the first entry, so I don't take the first one, but I'll take the second one if it comes up. But it came up and touched the news price. So even if it closes there, it's going to be a red flag. When to avoid trades when price is near news price. So even if this here closes with the buy signal, it's going to be a momentum scalp failure, but not one that I would personally take. And these red flags only come up from experience, right? I'm not just randomly coming up with these red flags. We've been trading live for like 3 or 5 years now. And whenever I take trades around these red flags, this is typically where I lose trades, right? So that's why I just avoid them completely, because price gets highly manipulated around these areas. So this right here would technically be a momentum scalp failure, but I'm not taking this trade here because it's at the red flags. Nick says that his MT4 is going crazy. I don't see any problem with mine, guys. So I don't know if anybody else is having issues, but I'm not. I also have my volume off, so I don't know if it's like making that noise. Like, what's the problem with your MT4, Nick? Is it making noise, or is it it might be your internet connection, because you had the same issue before when you were trading with us. Is anybody else having like their MT4 connecting and disconnecting? And you're on FTMO too, right, Nick? I think it's just where you're living, Nick. So Nick said he's on a different internet now, but I think it's just where you're living, because you've had the same internet connection issues in the past. And I don't think it's your internet. I think it's just like where you're located. I know. I think it's just you're probably pretty sure you're still in the same city, right? So your city probably just doesn't have good internet overall. Or maybe the bad internet just follows you, bro, because you're the only, every time you're like on these live sessions, I think you're like the only person that has issues with internet connection or with MT4. Unless anybody else here has problems with MT4, I think it's just you that's having issues, unfortunately. All right, guys, so there's a possible, actually, there's no entry here yet because we don't have a momentum scalp failure. Yeah, I'm just messing with you, Nick, but I don't know what's the issue, because I don't think anybody else has anything going on with their MT4. So we still don't have a buy signal here yet, guys. I mean, this technically could have been considered a momentum scalp variation because price is closing back below the pivots, but we don't have the retracement momentum signal. So still no entries here, guys. If I see anything, of course, I'll let you guys know, but we just don't have anything yet. Let me go ahead and turn on my momentum signals right here. But we need a retracement. So that's kind of what we're waiting for here. We're looking for a buy signal to come up in the opposite direction of the trend so that we can get the retracement. Once we get the retracement, we can start looking for some more entries. But these entries here come in order. So first we're looking for momentum scalp failure. Once this comes up, then we'll move on to the next one over here. And then once we have this, it'll either move on to the next one, or these two will probably come up on the same candle. Yeah, exactly. Rashida said we need price to drop more. So let's go ahead and take a full analysis again, guys. So looking over here at the higher time frames. So first, you want to confirm the overall trend, right? Looking over here on the 10-minute, you can see that price is bearish. And the reason for that is because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, and the pivots are starting to angle to the downside. Looking over here on the 5, you're looking for the same exact thing. You're looking to make sure that price is below the pivots, the trend meter is red, and the pivots are angling down. We've confirmed that here on the 5 and 10s. We obviously have a bearish trend. Lastly, on the 1-minute, you're looking for the same exact thing. You can see over here that price, again, is below the pivots. The trend meter is red, and the pivots are angling down, right? So once you confirm that on all the timeframes here, you can assume that the trend here is going to be overall bearish. So with that said, first requirement has been met. Second requirement for the momentum scalp variation and momentum scalp is you want to confirm a bearish momentum signal, right? We have a sell signal here on the 10, sell signal here on the 5, a sell signal here on the 1. So if you can find two trend and momentum together, odds of price continues to drop lower are very likely. So with that said, we're obviously looking for sells here, but we need price to retrace back up. So we have price dropping pretty heavy right here. The only main problem here as well, let me turn off the volume indicator, is that we have price right in between the sessions, right? So this is a red flag right here. You don't want to trade around this area, and you also don't want to trade around this area right here. So price is pretty much ranging in between these two red flags. If you guys were to draw a box between the areas, you guys can see that price is really just ranging now. It's not really even moving at all. So we got this top box right there, and then we got this lower box right here. And you can see price is really just going sideways. There's nothing going on, right? Sideways movement. So we'll see where price goes, but like what Rashida said, she's waiting for price to drop a little lower. And that's kind of what I'm looking for too. I agree with Rashida's analysis there, because I'm looking for price to drop below, retrace up, and continue. Once we get this setup right here, this is where I'll make my entry. And I'll pretty much write that down at TP. So that's kind of what we're waiting for here. Until we get that confirmation, there's not really much for us to take because it's right at the session. So even if we got an entry on this point, we wouldn't be able to take it confidently because it violates our red flags. All right, so we're pretty much just waiting for this confirmation here. Once we get the confirmation, we can start looking for entries, but we just don't have that yet. Let me scroll up real quick. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm missing. But yeah, I don't see anyone else here with an issue with MT4, Nick. So I'm not sure if it's just you. I'm assuming it's just you because my MT4 is working fine. But yeah, if anybody else has issues with their MT4, just chime into the chat so that Nick doesn't think he's crazy with his MT4. I don't know if it's just him or if it's anyone else, but I haven't seen anybody else respond to that so far. Let me scroll up real quick. Alexandria said, I'm a little new here. I'm just curious what is the indicator that you're using with the orange vertical lines? The indicator that with the orange lines is the momentum indicator, Alexandria. So we pretty much just updated the momentum indicator. What the orange bars are is it's a multiple confluence. So typically it'll be red and green, right? This will tell you whether momentum is going up or whether momentum is going down. If you turn on this new addition to the momentum indicator, this will give you a signal if it's also in that same direction on the two different time frames. So for example, here we're scalping, right? So I have this set to the 1 minute, which is the time frame that I'm on, the 5 minute and the 10 minute. So for example, if I get a sell signal right here, and it's also a sell signal on the 5 and 10, this is going to give you a strong confluence as with regard to momentum. This will indicate that it's orange. So the one way to look at this and know which direction it is if you look back to the previous momentum signal. So for example, here we have a green momentum signal. The next one needs to be a red one, right? So if it's orange, that means that it's red on pretty much all the other time frames. It's red on the 1, it's red on the 5, and it's red on the 10. So it's just it's the same momentum signal, but you're having an extra confluence indicating that it's also a sell on the other time frames. So I just introduced that this week. My brother just updated the indicator, so it's very useful. It helps you really pinpoint, what's a good momentum signal and what's not with regard to overall trend. So if this candle right here closes, guys, this is technically going to be a momentum scalp failure, but it's on the red flag right here, this London high. All right, so let's see over here. If this green momentum signal closes, this is going to be a momentum scalp failure entry as long as volume is below average. So looking down below over here, you can see how this green bar is pushing up to this blue line. If price is above the blue line, that's going to be above average. If price is below the blue line, that's going to be below average. So above average, below average. Basically, if this bar is below or above the blue line here. So, all right, if we get the buy signal right here, this is technically going to be a momentum scalp failure. But again, as I mentioned, I'm not really looking to take the first one. I'm looking to take the next one that happens after it, which would be the momentum scalp variation. All right, so looking at the volume meter down here. See where it ends up closing. Looks like it is above average. So this is not going to be a momentum scalp failure entry. All right, so no entry there for momentum. All right, actually didn't even close at the buy signal. So no entry there. Yeah, the volume meter down here was above average. Johnny's asking, morning, Sean, for the indicator, how do I get the volume bars? Yeah, so to get the volume bars on the bottom, Johnny, just go to your indicators right here. Go to technicals. It's going to be one of the built-in indicators. Type in volume. It's going to be when it just says volume. It's volume by itself. Once you click on that right there, you'll go to your indicator right here, and this will come up. It'll most likely be on your main chart. Once it's up right there, click on the settings, and then go to style and turn on your moving average, volume MA right here. That's going to bring up the blue line. And that's how you get the volume indicator on here. Let's see. Becky's asking, does your brother trade as well? Yeah, he does, Becky. I don't think he's on here right now. Let me check. Actually, he is. So I see Justin. Justin's my brother. He's on the Zoom right now. So he does trade. He's not as consistent, unfortunately, not yet, but he is getting there. Like I just talked to him yesterday. He was about to pass this challenge, and then he ended up taking a bunch of random trades. And he knew the issue was on his own. And he took his own random trades, and he just ended up getting into a bit of a hole. So he lost some profit. He took two bad trades, basically two bad trades with no strategy. And he fell back. And it doesn't matter like how close you are to me. Like even my own brother, right? He doesn't listen to me. So in order for you guys to really get this down, you guys have to just follow directions. And a lot of times it's just trial and error, right? You have to make a lot of mistakes before you can actually listen to the person that's teaching you. And it's been true to myself too. Like if someone tells me something, I usually don't listen the first time around. But eventually once you lose or you get burnt enough times, you start to listen. So yeah, he does trade with us here, but he's not as consistent yet, and he's still a new trader, so it's not necessarily you're not going to get this overnight. All right, so there's a possible entry over here. Actually, no, volume again is above average, so no entry off that. So we got a buy signal here, but it was above average, so it's not going to meet criteria. Steven's asking if my brother lives with me. No, he doesn't. I live by myself. So no, I don't. It's just me, my dogs, and my fiance sometimes when she's not working. But yeah, no, my brother lives he's a little distant. He lives about maybe an hour away from me. Nice. Will said he's one trade away from his verification. Nice work, Will. Yeah, so Will over here took his sell earlier, total profit of 221 for the day. He is just one trade away from meeting his verification. Nice work, Will. Just looking over here at the chat. Okay, so Kip over here posted his profits. Let me just save this real quick. Sorry, I'm just looking in our other chat over here. All right, so Kip posted his profits right here. He is currently at 6,355 in profit, all wins, no losses. Nice work, Kip. So yeah, if you guys have profits posted, feel free. There's no official trades yet, so there's nothing for us to really count at the moment. This was not a momentum scalp failure because volume over here is above average. We're just pretty much waiting for this to confirm a direction. So as you guys can see, price is starting to shift back up. So as price starts to shift back up right here, this might shift the trend. So as you guys can see right here, there's no clear direction of trend, right? Initially, price was bullish, and then price came down temporarily to be bearish. And now if price ends up swinging back above again, this can now be bullish again. So this is why I was mentioning before, guys. I don't necessarily like to predict where price is going. I just use current price, basically price action to show me where price is going at the time. So for example, on open over here, like if I look on the higher time frames, on open over here, it was currently bullish, right? Then price came down, then it was bearish. Now price is pushing back up and now it's bullish again. So if you guys are scalping or trading intraday, like don't ever really, like I don't recommend that you guys never get too married to a position, right? That's what people say a lot. Like don't get married to the position, because if you were only looking for buys here, you would have missed any possible sells that came below. And then, for example, if you were too focused on sells here, you would have been missing any buys that were possibly coming here now as price starts to swing back up. So as you guys can see, the market's a bit of a mess today. There's no clear direction. Price pretty much dropped below, and then now it's correcting right back up for a buy here. Looking over here on the 1 hour, you can see prices rejecting directly off the pivot. And then you can also see over here on the 30-minute prices closing out or starting to settle out for a double bottom, basically a variation scalp. Not a variation, but a variation V1. So I don't think this is a strong confluence, but right here, these are reversal patterns. If you get a double body right here, this is a reversal pattern back to the upside. And then right here on the 1 hour, you can see it's a double wick, and it's also rejecting off the pivot. So this might be another pattern for a reversal. So price might be correcting all the way back up. There's just a lot of noise here pre-market, not really pre-market, but initial on open. You can see here on the 10-minute price was bullish initially, came down for a big fake out. Now it's closing out for a double body, double wick, and it might be correcting all the way back up. So target price point for me specifically is probably going to be opening price right here. If you get a confirmation of reversal, then price will probably reach this area up here. And then once it swings above here, this is where it'll continue. So this is what I'm looking for here, guys. I'm looking for either two different scenarios here to play out. Either price is going to come back down and just continue dropping, or what I'm looking for next is for price to correct back up. So I'm looking for price to come up above the opening price, retest, and continue to the upside. So basically two different scenarios here that can play out. There's no clear direction. As you guys can see, there's no obvious trend here. I mean, price is somewhat bearish right now, but there's no obvious direction, right? Price is kind of still going back and forth at the moment. So it's not necessarily looking, what I would say great. I mean, it does look like price will be pushing up, but there's no confirmation yet that price will actually push to the upside. Because right now, looking at the trend on the shorter time frames, it's currently neutral. The 10-minute right here is right in between the pivots. So you can't really tell if price is going to continue up or it's going to swing back down. Same with the 5-minute over here, right? Price is right in between the pivots. So you don't want to take trades until you have a confirmation of confluence. Like you don't want to take a trade for a buy or a sell until you've confirmed that the trend here is either bullish or bearish. Right now, there's no confirmation. Maddie said, I think it'll test a session right above. Yeah, I think so too, Maddie. Obviously, target price point is going to be opening price right here if price continues to the upside, but it's going to have to break through the sessions and news price right here before it does that. We also have news coming up right here in 10 minutes. So hopefully when we get to this news price will actually push, one direction or the other. I think price will go sideways for a bit for the next 10 minutes. And then once we get closer to news price right here at 7:30, it's going to spike price, in a direction. So right here at 7:30, we have EIA natural gas stock change. And then at 8 o'clock, we also have news. It's Kansas Fed Manufacturing Index. We actually have two news events coming up. We have that one right there. And then we have another one right here at 8 o'clock. All right. So price is still technically bearish right now, guys. Just an FYI, price is still technically bearish. If this here closes below the pivots, this will actually still be an entry for a momentum scalp variation. So there was no momentum scalp failure, but if price ends up closing below the pivots, I think this will still meet criteria here for a momentum scalp variation. However, it's right at the session, so it's not necessarily an area that we want to trade in. But I'm just giving you guys a heads up that there's a possible momentum scalp variation that's coming up. So first, you want to confirm the overall trend. Everything here is still technically bearish. This is starting to shift to the upside, but it's still technically bearish. If price closes below, it's going to be considered bearish. But there's a mix between, the time frames here. Looking over here on the higher time frames, 10 and 5, it's still technically, well, the 10 now is neutral. It's blue down below. It's right in between the pivots, but the 5-minute over here is still bearish. So It's just messy right now, guys. It's not necessarily an area that you guys want to trade in. So even if we do get a momentum scalp variation here, I wouldn't take it for one, because it's going to be right at the sessions. And then also there's no clear direction of trend. We have momentum, but we don't have trend. So we'll see what this plays out. I mean, this is a pretty messy market. Yeah, I was hoping we'd get like at least one clean entry today, but it's not looking like it. It's kind of looking like yesterday. I didn't trade yesterday, but from what I heard from a lot of people in the group, that it was kind of choppy like this. Like for looking at it after it happened, it looked smooth because I looked at it after 8 o'clock. But if you looked at it during the live session, I believe it was kind of choppy like how it was today. It's kind of what CT was telling me and a couple other guys in the group. Nice, yeah. So we got Vincent over here. He said checks over stripes, locked in the total profit right here of 96.42. Nice work, Vincent. So he took that buy right there off my analysis. I kind of just mentioned how price was going to go up. You can see his timestamp over here. He entered this at 7:14, and he pretty much just wrote it up for a quick little push. So you can see how price is pushing up right here. If you guys remember, my target price point was going to be opening price, and that's where price is pushing to right now. It's pushing up higher and higher. Not one that I would necessarily take because there's no confirmation of trend yet, but for my speculation, I do expect it to reach opening price here. Vincent took a trade off my analysis, locked in at 96.42. He also took the entry right here when he saw price break above. So it looks like the entry right here that Vincent took was a high-low scalp. So you see the low over here that he marked, or the high-low that he marked up right here, or he didn't really mark it up, but you can see it. The entry that he took was the breaking close past it. So looking at this right here, this is what Maddie was actually talking about. It's not one of the entries that we take on the live as an official entry, but if you know my strategies right here, there was a high-low scalp that came up right there. So that's what Vincent took. So these are the main strategies that we're applying, guys. These three right here on the live session. But if you guys have my strategies and my indicators, you guys can see that I have over 20 strategies here that you can apply. The strategy that Vincent applied there was this one. Confirm overall bias. It was bullish. Confirm previous high low. There's a high right there. Confirm price breaking close past the previous high low. This candle right here broke and closed past it. Confirm trading the direction of momentum. We had a buy signal right there. So it's bullish momentum. And then you enter on the close of the candle. So this is the entry that Vincent took. And that's the one that he locked in. So locked in right there, full TP with the green strip. And you can see right here on his markup, that's what he took. So yeah, if you guys have my strategies, you guys can apply whatever you like. But for this live session and pretty much all the live sessions for this year, I'm only going to be taking these strategies right here. So unless I get these here, I'm not going to be taking anything officially. I'll take some speculative moves here and there if I see something that looks really good. But for the official trades that are counting for our results, it's just going to be these three strategies. And the reason why I chose these three strategies is because these over here have the highest probability of winning. So, my goal here is to give you guys high probability trades. I wanted to make sure that you guys win every single trade so that you guys can get funded and stay funded and continue to receive payouts. That's like the main goal here. It's all about, consistency and discipline. So even though there's a couple entries here that are coming up, you can see that I didn't even take this trade myself, even though that was an entry there. Other people in the group took the trade, but I'm trying to stay as disciplined and to the book as possible. Aside from the trades that I took earlier this morning for the breakout, I'll typically take some speculative moves like this, but they're not going to count towards the actual results. So these here are not going to count towards the results because they're not official entries. We're only looking for these three right here. Hey, Glenn. Yeah, I didn't trade yesterday because I woke up late, unfortunately. That was my bad. But yeah, I didn't trade yesterday. So I had zero on my account yesterday, but overall, I'm still doing pretty good. So if you look at my weekly profits so far, so if you just add this up, so let me just add up my weekly profits. Even though I didn't trade yesterday, I still did pretty good early in the week. So 556.10, 870, 46.40, 34.30. 60.70, 60.70, 60.70, 28.98. So total profit of 35K for the week so far across all my accounts. Again, guys, this isn't just one account. This is for 6 accounts. So you add all my profits up, that's pretty much where I'm at for the week. So it's fine that I didn't trade yesterday. I'm still doing pretty solid overall for the week. Let's see if there's anything else over here. Yeah, nothing yet. All right, so let me go back and just review the trend. There's no trend right now, guys. So in order for us to have an entry for any of the strategies, we need to confirm the overall trend. Looking at this right here, so the 10-minute is currently, in my perspective, it's neutral because price is in between the pivots. We need price to either be above the pivots or below the pivots, right? One of the areas, whether it's above or below, doesn't matter, but it needs to be at least above or below. Right now, price is currently in the middle, so there's no direction of trend yet. Once we have a direction of trend, we can possibly look for some entries. It's about to be 6:30 right now, so we have news coming up shortly. I'm hoping when news happens, it's going to push price in one direction or the other. But just keep in mind, we still have 30 minutes left. So if you guys have seen from our trades these past couple of weeks, a lot of the trades have been coming very late. So looking at our live session from Tuesday, these trades here didn't come until like 7:58. So these trades came super late. These came at 7:47. This one right here, clean entry, and then this one over here came at 7:58. So we still have a lot of time in the market, guys. Like, don't be worried if you guys haven't taken anything yet, because there's nothing official that's come up. We just need to confirm what the overall trend is. So we still have about 30 minutes until 8. I'm hoping when price comes out here for news, it's going to actually push it away. So let's see, we got news coming up right here in about 1 minute. So hopefully when news comes out right here on the next candle, it's going to push price really heavy to the upside, or it's going to push it really heavy to the downside. I don't care where it goes. I just want price to get away from this area here because there's a lot of red flags. Like, even if we were to get an entry around this area, we can't take any buys here because all the red flags, and we can't take any sells here either because all the red flags down here. So yeah, guys, just pretty much waiting for a confirmation here. Once we get the confirmation, we can start to look for possible direction. But the first confirmation we need is the overall trend. All right, we got the news candle coming up right here in about 10 seconds. Currently no trend still. Here's Zach. Let's see. Zach said, just took a trade when I heard you get silent. I'm running out of days on my F2 challenge. Obviously, my psychology is off today, getting off for the day, down 1.5%, need to make 8% by next Friday. Realizing I'm getting anxious about not making enough trades by then. Thanks for everything today. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, no, it's fine, Zach. So Zach over here made a mistake. He kind of just hopped into a trade because he thought I was in a trade, but I wasn't in anything. And then he ended up taking a loss. But it's okay. He's only down 1.5%, so he's not down a lot. Yeah. So I know a lot of you guys try to like predict when I'm making an entry because I'm taking speculative trades in the background. But try not to do that, guys. Like, if you guys want to be successful with trading, just focus on what's official here, right? Any of these entries right here, if these come up, then look for these here. I would avoid taking the breakout. If you guys are familiar with the breakout, then go ahead and take it. But if you guys are not familiar with it, don't like try to hop into these speculative moves when I'm hopping into them, because I'm usually in and out pretty quickly for these breakouts because I don't hold them for the full move. I only go for like a quick 100 pips. That's why my profits over here are very slightly below what they would typically be. So for example, here I was supposed to lock in about 1,000 per trade because I was going for 100 pips. Slippage hit me there, but I wasn't going for the full like 1,500 pips, right? I went for a small little fraction of it in between. So yeah, just a reminder, guys, if you guys are looking for my entries here, only look for these because these are the official ones. Don't take any breakouts that I'm looking to take unless you know what you're doing. So, I mean, it's all good. Zach over here ate a little bit of a loss. But the good thing about Zach is that he realized that his psychology is super off. He's just getting anxious and he's like worried that he's not going to have enough trades. But, you know, if you guys stay consistent, you guys should be perfectly fine. Because that's basically what I did this whole week, right? I didn't trade yesterday, but I took trades on Monday and Tuesday, and I took 2 speculative trades here, and I'm in profit about, you know, 35,000 for the week. So as long as you guys stay consistent to like what really matters, the official trades, and then possibly maybe a couple speculative moves here and there, you should be fine. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Because like on Monday, we took like there were just a bunch of official trades, right? How many were there? There were like one or two. So there was one here that we took. That was official. There's another one here that we took. That was official too. We don't have any actual losses this week because for the official trades, there were just a couple that came up. 2 on Monday, and then I think or 2 on Tuesday, I believe. And I think that was it. Anyways, we're still waiting for a confirmation of trend here, which we don't have. I mean, price is starting to push back up, so this is a good thing. Price is pushing up right here. This is the news candle. Go and market news real quick. So the news candle is right here. So basically this whole area, you don't want to take any trades around this whole area right here, right? So what you're looking for is you're looking for price to get above the opening price. We kind of want this setup to play out right here. Once price is above this area, I want to get a sell signal right here. It'll be a momentum scalp failure, and we'll just ride it up higher. And we'll take entries around these points over here. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for right now, guys. I'm just waiting for price to swing above. Once it swings above, we will look for entry. So if you guys remember my analysis from not too long ago, I mentioned that target price is going to be opening price, and it's almost there. So it pretty much did what I anticipated, right? I went over here on the higher time frames. I mentioned that we got a double body rejection here off the hourly, double wick. Same with the 30-minute over here. It's a double body reversal pattern. And then the 10-minute here is starting to shift to the upside. So like having that shift to the upside like that, I was able to anticipate that price was going to come back to open. So if you look over here at the chart, you can see that this is all noise, right? Market open over here bullish, and then all this manipulation happened right here just to lure in some sellers. As soon as they basically suckered in a bunch of sellers down here, let me just, so basically what they did was they pushed price here. They just manipulated price to the downside, right? And then what happened was they suckered all these sellers into getting into these sells. As soon as price came below here, it corrected right back up to where it's supposed to be, right? So let me just mark up where price is supposed to be. This is technically where price is supposed to be. So right here, prior to market open, you can see that this is where price was at. It was right down here, right? This over here is just noise. Bunch of noise that came down below here. That's why I never really switched to any sells. I just stuck to like our overall bias, which is still bullish. This right here is a fake out. You can see where price got faked out at, right? The London high right here. This is why I don't trade around these sessions, because you can see how price came below here. It closed below, faked out, and then it shot right back up. And then now it's going back to where it's supposed to be, which is this pink box right here. This pink box is where price is supposed to be. It was prior to market open or before this drop right here. Market open, pushed up, faked out way down here, faked out right here, and then now it's right back to where it's supposed to be. So we'll see where it ends up going, but I'm not going to predict anything here. I'm just going to wait for the market to give me what I need. And then once I have a confirmation, I'll look for some possible entry. We just don't have anything yet. Hey, Natasha, how's it going? Welcome to the party. It's all right. You didn't really miss out on anything, Natasha. Market's been kind of choppy, like it's been the past couple of weeks. We're basically waiting for it to come above here. Once it gets above this area, we'll start looking for some entries, but we just don't have anything yet. Let's see. Kenny over here send me a link. Would you send me, Kenny? All right, thanks, Kenny. Kenny sent me this link saying it's holding a hearing on countering Russian aggression in Ukraine. Yeah, so just an update on the Ukrainian war over there. That's still going on. All right, let's see. Treasury imposes sanctions against Russian paramilitary firm Wagner Group. Some breaking news there. Nothing crazy, but that's about it. All right, so we still don't have a confirmation of a trend, guys. Let me go over here on the other time frames. So again, in order for us to have any entries here, we need to confirm the overall trend, right? Looking over here on the 1 minute, it's currently bullish because price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, and the pivots are angling up. But price is starting to shift right back in between the pivots. This isn't an area that we want to trade in. We want price to be above here or far below here. until price gets in those areas, we're not really going to have much of a direction, right? So looking over here on the 1, it's currently somewhat bullish, but it's not very strong. Looking over here on the 5, you can see that price is also bullish because price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, the pivots are angling up. And then lastly, here on the 10, you can see that price is also bullish. So we're basically waiting for a confirmation here on the 1. If the 1 here can push above and close above this area, then we can start looking for some buys. But at the moment, it's not looking like that's happening. You can see prices in between the pivots here, and it's just bouncing around the area where it's currently at. Yeah, Maddie said retrace, trap sellers, and test open. Yeah, I can see that too, Maddie. So I'll just leave this open right here so that you guys can see there's no obvious direction, right? Price is kind of just going back and forth. I mean, the higher time frames here just keep bouncing back and forth. We were looking for a buy here, but it's not really looking like it's going to establish, because price is just coming right back down on the 1 minute. But again, there's no official entries yet. We've been waiting for something to confirm. There was no momentum scalp failures that lined up. Either the volume was too high or it was at a red flag. But just be patient, guys. It's getting closer to like 8. I think typically around this time it starts to move directional, but we just don't have a confirmation yet. All right, so some profits over here from Slava. Slava locked in a total profit of 1,383 for the day. Nice work, Slava. So solid profits right there. And then here's Slava's other account on C Trader. He's currently up 1,641. Nice work, Slava. So he traded gold today, and then he traded US30, all wins and no losses. Great work, Slava. Yeah, Slava said he's more than 1% in profit, so he's calling it a day. Yeah, I'm around that area too, but I'm looking for an actual official entry. Hopefully I'll get it soon, but I mean, we'll see. There's no telling what'll happen in the next couple of minutes or so, because this is typically what's been happening this past couple of weeks. If you guys have noticed, like for the past 2 weeks since the beginning of the new year, a lot of these trades have just been coming super late. Here's some profits from Sisu, locked in a total profit of 1,750 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Sisu. So majority of people here are still locking in profits just based off my analysis, which is good. But again, I just want to confirm with you guys that there's no official entry. So don't worry if you guys haven't taken anything yet. There really is no official entries for us to take. I'm waiting patiently for one to come up, but there just isn't anything for us to take just yet. You can see here that price was bullish earlier, and now price is back to being bearish because price is now below the pivots on the 5 and the 10. The 5 minute here has a pending sell signal. If this becomes the case, and this is also very fine, it doesn't matter whether we're looking for buys or sells. We're not really stuck in one direction or the other because there's no confirmation of direction yet. Price pretty much shifts from a buy back to a sell, back to a buy, and then now back to a sell. So it's just going back and forth. There's no confirmation yet. Yeah, exactly. Christian said just waiting for that textbook scalp variation. That's exactly what I'm looking for too, Christian. Because like, for example, if we just wait for that one entry and it comes up, it's almost guaranteed to hit, right? As long as it's followed by like a momentum scalp failure, odds of it hitting are going to be very likely. So I'm just waiting for that to happen as well. I'm the same boat as you. Yeah, Christian said he can confirm. Yeah, so if you see it, Christian, let us know, so we can take a look. But I mean, for the most part, we just don't have a confirmation yet. In order for us to have a sell, we need to get a sell signal here on the 5. In order for us to get a buy, we need to get a buy signal here on the 10, right? So either way, it's not going to align because we have a buy signal here on the 5, and then we have a sell signal here on the 10. So until these two align here, we can't even look on the 1 minute. So we need a confirmation of trend, and we need a confirmation of momentum. Until we have that, there's not going to be any entries for us to take at the moment. Brock said, he said, not doing so well, but I'm going to catch up soon. I really need to for now take official entries. He took a few scalps here and there, but he's kind of like bouncing back and forth. So Barack over here locked in a total profit of 509. Looks like he had one loss there, but he made it right back. But yeah, he's looking for that consistency. So yeah, it's pretty much what we're waiting for, Brock. Yeah, he said he just needs to sit down and take official entries only, which, yeah, that's the best option. If you guys just wait for the official entries, it's almost guaranteed that you will pass your challenge and get funded, right? Because all of the official entries that we've taken this whole year have all been wins. If you guys have been following the results for the year so far, we currently have 15 wins and 2 losses. The only 2 losses are from the breakouts. So that's why I've been telling you guys, like, I don't take the breakouts by itself, and I don't recommend people take it unless you're comfortable with it. The only official trades that I'm looking to take here are going to be these 3 entries here. So we've had a total of 15 entries for this year so far, and they're all wins, aside from the breakouts. So every other entry we've taken have all been wins for this whole year. All right, so we're still waiting for some confirmation here. I still have the momentum alerts on. So the main thing we're looking for here, guys, is we're looking for a sell signal on the 5. Once we have a sell signal here on the 5, this is going to confirm the momentum. And if we get a sell signal here on the 5, this is likely to push price down on the other time frame. So if this pushes down further on the 5, then we're probably going to get a sell trend on all 3 time frames. And once we do get that sell signal here, it's going to confirm momentum as well. So we'll have a sell trend and sell momentum across the board. That's basically all that we're looking for. All right, so we have a pending sell signal right here on the 5. We need this to actually close. This candle has about 5 minutes left on it. So, or sorry, 1 minute left on it. So if it closes in the next 1 minute and it closes with a sell signal, then this will confirm, the direction of our bias that we're waiting for. Nice. Yeah. So Natasha over here, she said focused on wins, not profits. So Natasha over here just focused on winning every single trade that she took. Total profit of 230 for the day. She took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 back-to-back wins and no losses. Nice work, Natasha. So that's a key thing, guys. Like, I think the thing that a lot of people get focused on too much is the profits, right? Like what Natasha said, she's focused on wins, not profits. If you guys focus on just winning your trades, it's inevitable that you'll make profits, right? So Natasha's just focusing on winning every single trade that she can so that adds up, and then she makes profit at the end of the day, week, and month. So if that's the case, guys, because I feel like a lot of people get greedy when they see the profits. Like, for example, here, if you look at my accounts, if I was looking at the profits, I typically want to make like at least about 1,000 a day, right? If I'm not making 1,000 a day, then I start to get a little greedy because I want to squeeze in another trade. Like, for example, here, I made 1,000 on this account. I made 870. I'm like, okay, I need that 1,000 mark. So I'm kind of inclined to take one more trade to basically reach that point. But since I'm focused on wins here, I just have a bunch of wins and no losses, aside from TFF over here, which kind of just screwed me. Everything technically is all wins. So if you guys have problems with finding the consistency, you guys should focus on just winning the trades. Don't focus on the profits. Even if you get partial profits, that's still considered a win. So that'll help with your confidence and, continuing to build up your account. Because I mean, if you don't take any losses, or if you take very minimal losses, eventually you're gonna end up at that goal that you need, which is typically 10% on FTMO or 8% on MFF. Let's see. Yeah, Brock said, yeah, wins versus profits. Yeah, exactly, Brock, 100%. See, Zach said, let me see. Zach said, wait, I thought we had an official scalp that lost on January 10th. I risked 3% because I thought it was official. Let's see, you said January 10th. Let me check. Actually, okay, so we did have one loss on that day. Okay, so I take that back. There was one loss for one of the official entries. It's for a variation that happened right over here. Yeah, you're right, Zach. So there was one that lost on the 10th. There was one variation and one breakout that had the issue. Yeah, that's basically about it. So yeah, on the 10th over here, stop loss hit for momentum scale variation. It was just a big spike down. We got close to our TP there, but then it spiked down. I think for some people, they actually hit their TP because they had 100 pip TP stop loss. For this specific move, I used a 250, 500. So I got stopped out on this, but I think a lot of people actually made profit on that specific trade. Because if we go over here to the 10th, so let's see, let's go over here to the 10th. Yeah, a lot of people here took it. So Patricia over here took the trade and she actually won. So she made 8,000 that day. Desville here took the buy as well. Made 1,000. So a lot of people here actually took the trade, but they took it for a smaller profit. I took a loss on that though, but it looks like a lot of people here ended up making profit on that day. Yeah, so I think it might have just been like me and Zach. I know there was only like a few people who took it with a bigger TP stop loss, but a lot of people here took it with 100 pip. So they ended up closing out with profit. But yeah, that did count as a loss there because I did put it as in the results. So looking at the results for that week. Yeah, it was right here. So right there on the 10th, it's counted as a loss. And I was hoping we get a direction here. We never got that sell signal here on the 5. So, I mean, that was kind of what we were waiting for. We still have the pending sell right here. It has about a minute left on it. But that's kind of what we're waiting for. If this here closes, then we might have a possible opportunity for entry. But the problem with this here is that, you know, typically we stay on until after 8 if we don't have any official entries, but we have news right here at 8 o'clock. So it's not necessarily the best day to stay on past the live session time. We have news here at 8 o'clock and we have also news at 8:30. So I'm not going to stay on past 8 today. It's not really worth the risk. If we have an entry that comes in before then I'll take it. But if we don't have any entries by 8, then we're probably just going to have to wrap it up. No official entries. Yeah, no, William said, leaving early today. Thanks, Sean. I'm really enjoying and benefiting from the live stream. See you tomorrow. Definitely, William. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Yeah, the key thing here, guys, is consistency, right? Like there's a lot of trades here that you can probably like FOMO into that looks like something that you might want to take. But as long as you stay disciplined and don't take any random trades, you should be perfectly fine. Like, for example, there's no official trades for today, no official trades for yesterday because we didn't have any live session. But all the official trades from this week have hit. So yeah, I think just for this week so far, we have about, we don't have a crazy amount of trades. You have 1, 2, 3, or I think 2 actually. There's only 2 official trades for this week, but they all hit TP. Other than that, there's just nothing for us to take right now. Let's see, Patrick said done for the day, not going to risk anything before clocking out. Yeah, no, same here, Patrick. It's getting close to 8 o'clock. If we didn't have news at 8 or 8:30, I would have stayed on a little longer to catch something, but it's just not worth the risk, right? I'd rather just come back tomorrow and then have a better opportunity to take entry. But I think for right now specifically, there's just nothing for us to take. Let's see the 5-minute. All right, perfect. So the 5-minute here closed with the sell signal. We have a bearish trend. So we currently have a bearish trend on the 10, bearish trend on the 5, bearish trend on the 1. Reason for that is because price is below the pivots, trend meter is red, and the pivots are angling down. So we have a downwards trend on all the time frames. We also have a bearish momentum across the time frames as well. On the 10-minute here, we have a sell signal. 5-minute, we have a sell signal as well. And the 1 minute over here, we currently have a sell signal, but we're looking for that retracement. So we might have an entry come up in the next couple of minutes or so. We'll see if this here closes. What we're looking for first is we're looking for a buy signal. So if we get a buy signal here, this is going to confirm the criteria for a momentum scalp failure as long as volume is below average. Let me turn on the volume again. As long as volume is below average and we get a buy signal here, this is going to be a momentum scalp failure entry. Following that entry, there might be a possible momentum scalp variation. So yeah, just sit tight for the next couple of minutes, guys. We might have an entry here, but we got to confirm that we actually have this set up. So I mean, it's just a game of patience at this moment. We're just got to wait for this buy signal to come up. The volatility here has died down quite a bit. So I think if I do take an entry, I'm only going to go for 100 pips because the volatility here is super low. Seems like a lot of people are out of the market. They're probably waiting for the news to pass right here because we have news coming up over here at 8 o'clock. So, and there goes the volatility pick back up. All right. So still nothing yet, but if we do get a buy signal, it'll technically be entry for momentum scalp failure. As long as volume is below average, it's looking like it is below average because it's not really moving very much. But we'll see. It's 7:52 right now, so it's 8 minutes till 8. If it gets too close to 8, I'm just going to sit out because I don't want to be holding on to the position when news happens. This is like the worst time to hold a trade. If you hold a trade into news, price could likely spike to your TP or it'll spike to your stop loss. So not exactly the risk that you want to be in. See if there's any other news today. We have Biden speaking today at 11. So I definitely don't anticipate that you guys should be trading later today, because Biden is going to be speaking later today as well. So if you guys continue to trade after the live session, just be very careful because you don't know what Biden's going to say, right? Like, he can say things that are positive, but it's still going to affect the market negatively, or he can say things negatively and it can do the complete opposite in the market. So Biden is not like Trump before. You know, Trump, whenever Trump said anything, it was always great for the economy, great for the country. No matter like how outrageous it would be what Trump was saying, it would still be beneficial. So like whenever Trump spoke, you can literally buy. And if you were just lucky enough, or if like you just held the trade long enough, price would go straight to your TP. For Biden here, you can't say the same thing. Price can do like a lot of things depending on what Biden says. So yeah, Nick said all those days. Yeah, those days were fun. Like I remember that was when you first joined the group, Nick, during COVID. We were able to take buys. Like whenever Trump posted a tweet, we would just take buys, not necessarily just random buys, but we took a buy based off an entry, and it would almost always hit TP no matter what. It was like a golden age. Like literally you would take a buy whenever price hit support, and then when Trump spoke, that thing would just skyrocket like 1,000 pips. But when Biden speaks now, you don't really know what he's going to say. And you can't really tell if he's going to, if he's even going to get to the podium in time. Because like right here, for example, it says that Biden's going to speak at 11, but this guy usually doesn't speak for like he's usually an hour or 2 hours late. So you can't really time it like how we did with Trump. Like if Trump said he was speaking at like 12 o'clock, he'd be on the mic like before 12 o'clock. So we would just stop trading like 30 minutes before. For Biden here, you probably just got to take the whole day off because you don't want to be trading when he's actually speaking. Yeah, Robin said the only time Trump had the market fall is when he got COVID himself. That was really what it was, huh? As soon as he got COVID, people kind of freaked out, and then market kind of dropped a little bit. But whenever he said anything else, like he came back and said COVID was nothing, like the market just skyrocketed. So I think it'll be interesting this year too, because people are going to start campaigning. If Trump starts a campaign again, you're going to see a lot of crazy stuff going on in the news. And I don't know, it might affect the market probably a lot better than what Biden's doing. Let's see, Camo said he's in drawdown. He bought at 33,770. Yeah, I could see where you bought, Camo. You probably bought around the support, right? Yeah, you try to get around this, get in from this area. We'll see. We'll see if it bounces. I mean, the bias right now is for a sell though. So personally, I'd be looking for a sell, but I know you like to trade support resistance a lot of the times, especially because it's right here at the sessions. So this is like a triple bottom or even more. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, quadruple bottom basically. So this might bounce, but for me personally, I don't trade that way. I trade with momentum. So I don't necessarily like to go against it. If momentum is going down, I'm looking for a sell. So we'll see if this bounces for you. Hopefully it does, because I'm not in any position, so I don't have a stake in direction or price. But it is getting close to 8, so I don't think we're going to have any official entries for today, unfortunately. Yeah, Maria said, see you tomorrow. At least we don't lose. Yeah, exactly, Maria. We'll see you here tomorrow. So Maria's done for the day. CT said he took a risky high-low at the session for a quick TP. Nice. Yeah, I saw that right there, CT. So CT took the session high-low right here. Not necessarily one I would take or one that I'd recommend anybody take, but CT took it because he trusted the move. And he wrote that down. So even though this here was a high-low scalp, it's not one I would take because of the red flag, obviously. Red flag, when to avoid trades when price is near sessions, which would have been this purple line right here. So yeah, it is considered risky, but But yeah, I mean, if you trust it, you can take it. So these red flags here, guys, this is optional. So you don't have to follow this if you don't want to. For me, I've lost a lot of trades trading around these areas. So that's why I just avoid the trade completely. I don't trade at any of these areas here, just to for peace of mind, and so that I only focus on quality entries. So you guys don't have to follow these rules. You guys don't have to follow anything I'm saying, really. You know, price can do whatever it wants, but from my experience and what I look for in the market, these are the criteria that I follow so I can stay disciplined and consistent with my profitability. Nice. Yeah, Brock said he took the high-low scalps as well. Yeah, no, a lot of people like that strategy. So if you guys are not familiar with that strategy, I'll put the requirements up here. Again, it's not one that I'm going to be applying here in the live session, but if you guys want to take it, you know, here are the requirements. This is a favorite for a lot of people. I know CT likes to use it. C-Suk likes to use it. Maddie likes to use it. Parag likes to use it. I like using it myself too, but not all the time. It just depends on like the conditions and if everything lines up. Then possibly I would, you know, take it myself, but I don't take it most of the time, at least not anymore. Yeah, CT said there was enough room for balance between the sessions. I agree. So there was enough space for you to drop down from there. Definitely Van Harwig. Van Harwig said, thank you, see you tomorrow. We'll see you back here tomorrow, Van Harwig, as we close out the week. Sisu caught it. Christian said, now everything's breaking. Yeah, I know. Everything's coming down below now. So, I mean, we have a sell bias here, obviously, but it's about to be 8 o'clock. So guys, unfortunately, it does not look like we're going to have any official entries today. It's about to be 8 o'clock. So we have news again right here at 8 o'clock. And it's just not a good time to trade because we have another news event coming up over here at 8:30. And then you guys have Biden speaking later today. So you want to be very careful about taking any other entries after this live session. For me personally, I would just call it a day. You know, if you guys have been trading with us all week, we haven't had any losses. So you guys should be perfectly fine in profit. Like, again, if I add up my profits here, you know, I'm currently up 35,658. So I don't really need to force anything. All these trades here are just like trades that I'm waiting for. I'm not really like forcing anything to come to me. I'm just waiting for the market to show me what I need. And when I see something there, I hop into the trade. So like overall, my profits for the day are not horrible. They're not great, but they're not horrible. Like typically my goal for the day is to make about 1,000 a day per account. So I have 6 accounts. So like my goal usually per day is to make like around like, you know, around 6,000. That's usually what I'm aiming for. But today I'm short of it. So if I added my profits for today, so this is my profit for the week, but for the day so far, I'm currently up 870 plus 1570 plus 420, plus 420, plus 420, and then a loss on my MFF of 567 because of slippage. I'm currently up 3,133. So I'm not doing horrible. I'm below average on my profit goal for the day, but I'd rather have 3,000 in profit than have 3,000 in loss, right? So in order for me to avoid getting caught in any of these market manipulative moves, I'm just going to sit out. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I can answer whatever you guys need help with right now. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up for the day. We're going to come back tomorrow, same place, same time as we close out the trading week. But for today, I think this is a good time to just call it a day because we have more news coming up over here at 8:30. And then you have Biden speaking later today as well. Let me check my FX book to see if there's anything else here. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else. Let's see for tomorrow morning. We have some news pre-market. We have PCE price index, some inflation news right here, personal income and personal spending. So we have some high impact news pre-market. This will probably push price around. And at 7 o'clock, we have pending home sales and revised UOM consumer sentiment. So for this right here, I expect this to be negative news because we are going to somewhat of a recession, whatever you guys want to consider it. So I think all the news tomorrow is going to be negative. It's going to be negative overall. It might not be negative here on Forex Factory because, so I'm looking at the forecast right here. So previously it was 0.2%. They're forecasting it to be 0.3. So it's not a big increase, but I think overall, you know, is the economy overall this year, I think it's going to be negative. Pretty much all the news this year is going to be negative. It's just either is going to be super negative or it's just going to be partially negative, right? But, you know, we are going to a recession, so just keep that in mind. I'm expecting price to be very volatile and very highly manipulated because I could see a lot of people betting and gambling on these news events tomorrow morning. So it could be a good thing for us. It could be a bad thing. It'd be a good thing because we'll have volatility for entry. It could be a bad thing because it might push price a little choppy. as it opens. So like pre-market, it might spike up or spike down, and then into the mid-session might spike up or spike down again. Kind of like what happened today, right? So like looking for example today, let me go over here and I'll just show you guys the choppiness of today's market. Let me turn off all the indicators real quick so that you guys can see better. All right, so market opened over here at 6:30. And our live session over here ended or ends at 8 o'clock, right? This is opening price. You guys can see how price didn't really do anything, right? Price kind of just went back and forth. I mean, price is dropping further, but you can see here on open, price pretty much just went sideways for a bit. So this is opening price right here. It just went sideways for a good like 10, 20 minutes. Price slightly dropped below. Went back into further consolidation. Pushed up slightly. Back into further consolidation. And it's dropped back below here. What do you think's next? Further consolidation, right? So there's not really much movement here. It's just blocky movements. Price kind of went sideways, moved slightly, sideways, moved slightly, sideways. And then now price is going sideways again. My guess is that if price corrects back up, it's going to push back up to opening price eventually. So I think what might happen here is we might get a slight push back up. And then what do you think is going to happen from there again? Consolidation, right? So it's not really a good time to trade because price isn't really going up or down. It's kind of just pushing slightly, consolidating, pushing slightly, consolidating, pushing slightly, consolidating. Biden's going to speak over here, or he's supposed to speak at 11:45. So you might just keep getting a bunch of these movements, sideways movement all throughout the day. That's why I don't really recommend anyone trade, because the thing is you could get caught in a position and then you'll just end up being stuck in that position all day because there's not going to be any movement. So other than that, let's see, question from Nick. Nick's asking, do you set the trailing stop on the FTMO Quick Trade Manager? No, I don't. I don't really use that. I mean, some people use it. I've used it before, but I'm not really much of a person that likes to use trailing stops because the stop loss moves too close to my price. And then what typically happens is when the market's volatile, it'll stop me out before reaching my TP. That's kind of what happened on Monday, right? So if you guys saw my profits on Monday, Monday right here, right? So for my first trade over here, or my second trade actually, I was supposed to make 2,500, but I moved my stop loss with the trailing stop, or I just trailed it and then I locked in less profit. So if I just left it alone, I would have got my 2,500. But since I had a trailing stop, or I moved my stop loss in profit, it locked me out. It kicked me out at 1,800. So for me personally, I don't like using trailing stops. I think it moves too quickly. I personally like to move it manually. So price is moving up, I'll just move my stop loss and I'll drag and drop it on MT4. Nick said was just testing it out, and holy crap, it works really well. It does work really well if you use it properly. For me, I used it too closely. So, I mean, if you have a bigger trailing stop, then yeah, it works well. But for me personally, I have too tight of a trailing stop, and then it ends up closing me out a little too early. But it does work. It's a great tool if you use it properly. And Nick also mentioned at 34, 131 still has yet to be hit. A lot of liquidity up there. Yeah, no, I can see that happening too. I know you mentioned that in the group earlier today. I mean, there's liquidity on both sides, right? There's no specific direction where there's a lot of liquidity sitting. There's just direct liquidity on both areas. So like looking at this here, so all the liquidity is basically sitting right here, right? This is like what you're looking at, this whole area right here. So, I mean, price might reach that point like tomorrow. I don't think it'll happen anytime soon though, because it's still a very far push. So see price from here to there, that's about 4,000 pips. That's a big push before it reaches that area of liquidity. But yeah, if it does reach that point, then I can see it pushing up higher, because it's just going to knock out all of the liquidity up here. And then when it knocks that out, it's got more liquidity sitting up here, right? This is basically the long-term holders, the people who are selling right now and baking on price to drop. When price reaches this point, they're going to get liquidated, and then it's going to continue pushing unless people sell off. I think they're going to get rid of their positions, or they probably already did by now. This is from last week, the 17th. So I'm pretty sure a lot of them already liquidated their position. So they might not even be sitting there anymore. But we'll see. Sam's asking, bit off subject, which Forex pairs are not affected by US news? None of them, right? Everything is affected by US news. Anything that has like anything that's world power will affect any pair, right? You could be trading like the rand or some, I don't know, something. What's like a random pair that people trade? I can't think of anything, but here, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. So, I mean, everything is affected by the US dollar. The US basically controls everything, right? So it doesn't matter what country you're in. Even if you're in a very small country, it affects it. Yeah, I can't even think of anything here. Like, even if you're to trade like Euro CHF, the Euro is still, and the US, so the Euro is affected by the US dollar because it's competing with it, right? The Swiss franc is a safe haven currency. So if the US is going to recession, money goes into the Swiss franc, so it's still going to affect it. Same with the pound, you know, they're competing. So basically all the major pairs are competing assets, right? The AUD is going to compete with the US. That's why it moves opposite of each other. Euro, GBP, NZD, basically all these top ones here, AUD, Euro, GBP, NZD, USD, these are all going to, or Canadian, they're all going to affect the US dollar because they're competing assets. AUD, CHF, and JPY are typically in the same grouping. So Euro and GBP are in the same grouping. They're competing world currencies. And then the AUD, NZD, CHF, and JPY usually do the opposite because they are, the AUD is not considered a safe haven currency, but CHF and JPY are. So if the US dollar is going into a recession, so say for example here, you can see it better on the 8-hour, right? Like you can see that we're going into a recession, right? So if we're going to a recession, people place their money typically into the Japanese yen because it's supposed to be a safer currency. So you can see how prices have been dropping here since October, because in October they announced, okay, we're probably going to be going to a recession. We're going to be increasing inflation rates, you know, mortgages are going to go up, et cetera. So the US economy goes down. When the US economy goes down, the JPY goes up. Right. So the way that these Forex pairs move is that they move at a scale. So whenever the economy is doing good, so when price is going up, that means that the first asset here is stronger than the other. And then when we announce the recession, the JPY starts to raise in power. So whenever price goes up, that means the first currency is stronger. When price goes down, that means the second currency is stronger. So I mean, overall, there's not really any asset that isn't affected by US news. Everything is pretty much affected. Some less than others, but for the most part, there's still going to be some sort of effect because everything is pretty much tied to the US dollar, right? Like everyone's either indebted to the US or debted to the US. Like even China, the US is indebted to China. So if anything happens to the US dollar, that's the money that is owed to China. So like the Chinese currency will go down as well. Everything is kind of tied to it. Let me see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Yeah, no problem, Sam. I know it's kind of difficult because a lot of times you want to just trade something that's more neutral, but it's like impossible to find anything neutral because there's so much US news going on. Like if you've been following the news, there's high impact news literally every day. The time when it'll start to slow down will be in the summer. So summer will slow down a bit, but pretty much early in the year, January, February, March, April, it's going to be a lot of US news, especially with tax season coming around the corner as well in March. Let's see, anything else here that I'm missing? Nick said, looks like the 3-minute pivot strategy still comes through. Yeah, no, that works perfectly. So the thing with the pivot strategy, Nick, it's very similar to the momentum scalp. So that's one thing to possibly look at as well. I mean, not pivot, yeah. So basically the pivot strategy and the momentum scalp are literally the same strategy. It's just we're using momentum as well as a confirmation. All right, Brock says he's going to call it a day as well. Let me see if there's any other messages here. So Slava over here, he added a couple more trades. He said added with selling. So he saw price drop below here. There was actually a momentum scalp failure right here. This green candle, it was at the sessions though, so you couldn't have taken it. But if you did take it, it looks like Slava over here actually took it, locked in some more profit. He has a total profit of 1,948 for the day. Nice work, Slava. Yeah, Slava said added with the selling, now really calling it a day. Thanks for the session. See you tomorrow. Definitely, so we'll see you back here on Friday. CSUK's done as well. CSUK said, I'm calling it, this market is trash right now. Total profit of 4,900 for the day. Nice work, CSUK. All right, so I think that's about it, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. You guys can email me, Sean@KodiKaiTrades.com, or message me on Telegram. If you guys want to rewatch this live session, just pull up the YouTube channel or go to our website, KodiKaiTrades.com. Click on this button right here, and this will bring you to the YouTube channel. If you guys want to watch any of the previous live sessions, click on live. All the live training sessions are in blue. All the mentoring sessions are in green. Private mentoring was in orange. If you want to watch any of the strategies, go to videos here. And then it'll have all the results and strategy videos on this page. So, all right, guys, unfortunately, there's no official trades for us to take today, but it's better to have no losses than any losses. So I think we did pretty okay today. Unfortunately, the market just hasn't really given us anything. It's been going back and forth pretty much all session. So hopefully tomorrow with the news, it'll push price directional, at least one direction or the other, so that we can close out the week with maybe, a couple of trades here and there. So other than that, guys, that's about it. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, we'll be back tomorrow to close